My beloved child, listen carefully if you trust in God. Type Amen. For 5 minutes now, time in the spiritual realm has slowed down, and Archangel Michael has been calling out your name with a trembling voice, not from panic, but from purpose. His voice, a sound not heard by human ears but felt deep in the spirit, has echoed across dimensions, not to scare you but to awaken you. Because something unbelievable has happened behind the veil. A hidden millionaire, someone who lives far from where you are, someone who carries power in silence, was shown something about you. Something divine. Something sacred. And when they saw it, they didn't speak, they just stood still. Speechless. Breath caught. Eyes wide. Because what they discovered wasn't ordinary. It wasn't luck. It was a revelation. And that revelation had your name wrapped in heavenly light. There is a story being written about you in places you've never walked into. Rooms you've never entered. Conversations you weren't even present for. Yet your name, your essence, was mentioned, seen, acknowledged. And heaven leaned forward when it happened. Archangel Michael, who has shielded you through storms and guarded your destiny through delay, saw what happened and began crying your name across the heavens, not to beg you, but to bring you back to the truth. The truth that you were never forgotten. That something massive has shifted. That favor has remembered you. And that this opportunity, the one being whispered into motion right now, is too divine to ignore. This isn't a warning. It's a celebration. A confirmation. A sacred appointment that has just arrived and has been waiting for your spirit to open wide enough to recognize it. This hidden millionaire did not find you by coincidence. They were led. Their spirit was stirred. They were shown an image, a vision, a moment in time where your name appeared with fire around it, not fire of destruction, but of purpose. They don't even know how they found you. They can't explain why they felt connected to you. But they know something has been revealed. Something they were instructed to honor. And now, the angels are moving between you and them, building a bridge of divine connection that will soon collide with your life in ways you never imagined. This is not about money. This is about meaning. And the meaning is this: someone is about to bless you, not out of pity, but because heaven marked you as worthy. You may not feel ready. You may not feel qualified. But this was never about credentials, it was about calling. You've walked through fire. You've stood in silence while others shouted. You've loved in secret. You've stayed kind when your soul was breaking. And heaven saw it all. And now, that hidden sacrifice is echoing into the hands of someone capable of changing your life. And that person has just been awakened. Archangel Michael has not left your side for the last 5 minutes. He's watching to see if you'll believe. If you'll receive. If you'll pause your scrolling, not out of fear, but because something inside of you knows, this moment is not like the others. You are not chasing blessings. Blessings are my beloved child, listen carefully if you trust in God. Type Amen. Chasing you. And when they catch you, they won't just drop finances into your life, they'll restore dignity. They'll prove that the long nights mattered. That the prayers whispered through tears did not get lost. That the seeds you planted in silence are now sprouting through divine timing. And this person, the hidden millionaire, was chosen not because of their wealth, but because they have what heaven wants to get to you. Their eyes were opened. Their heart was stirred. And now, your name is on their spirit. And it won't leave until they do what they were called to do, send you what was always meant to find you. Michael says softly now, don't run from this. Don't doubt this. Just open your heart and believe again. You've waited long enough. And heaven has moved for you. This message, this moment, is not fiction. It is prophecy. And it is unfolding now. There are moments in life that arrive not with noise but with sacred stillness, and this is one of them. A moment that cannot be explained with logic, only with the quiet voice of the Spirit that says, something is happening right now for you. Archangel Michael has not left your side since the sound of your name began echoing through the heavenlies. His wings are not folded in rest, they are spread in protection, wrapped around your future, surrounding the parts of your life you thought were forgotten. This moment is not empty. It is full. Full of signs, full of divine movement, full of presence. A millionaire whose name you do not know, whose hands you've never touched, whose voice you've never heard, has been spiritually shaken, and the reason behind it is you. They saw something. Or rather, they were shown something. And what they were shown was not your bank account, not your status, not your achievements. They were shown your heart. They saw the battles you fought when no one was watching. They felt the echoes of your late-night prayers that carried more tears than words. They were given a glimpse of a soul that had been through fire, and yet refused to let the fire take away its light. And in that moment, something divine happened inside of them. The kind of spiritual moment that turns thought into action. A conviction born not out of pity, but out of purpose. They knew they had to respond. They didn't know your full story, but heaven did. And heaven allowed a stranger to see what others close to you never noticed, that you were chosen. That you were marked. That you had endured far too long without the reward you were due. And now, the time has come for restoration to take shape, not as a wish, but as a real, tangible manifestation. Your name was placed in their heart by a divine hand, not by chance, not by accident, not through algorithms or randomness, but by spiritual authority. And the moment they said yes in their spirit, the angelic realms began to move. Money may be the channel, but it is not the meaning. The meaning is that heaven still keeps promises. That no good deed, no private sacrifice, no quiet faith ever goes unnoticed. This is about honor. This is about divine timing. This is about a release that was reserved for a moment when your soul could finally hold what your hands had long prepared for. You thought you were disqualified because of the delays, because of the missed opportunities, because of the rejections that left bruises under your confidence, but this blessing was never going to arrive through a traditional door. It was always going to find you through the supernatural. Michael speaks now, not loudly, but deeply. This is why I've been crying your name. Because you forgot how precious you are. Because you were so busy surviving, you forgot you were chosen. And heaven could not stay silent. Your season has shifted. And the one I was sent to protect is finally ready to receive. You are no longer being overlooked. You are no longer being skipped. The divine spotlight is on you, not to expose your flaws, but to announce your favor. The person who saw you doesn't know your past, but they recognize your anointing. And heaven is using their hands to deliver what belongs to you. This is not something you have to beg for. You've already earned it with your faithfulness. You've already qualified through your endurance. And now, the miracle is walking toward you clothed in flesh and led by angels. The doors that refused to open before were not locked, they were preserved. And now that the appointed time has arrived, nothing can stop what is yours from entering your hands. Your name will not be forgotten. It will be spoken again and again in the ears of people with power. You won't need to convince anyone. You won't need to prove your worth. God has already spoken for you. Archangel Michael has already cried your name through heaven's gates. And now, those cries are turning into answers, not someday, but now. The countdown wasn't about fear, it was about confirmation. You have exactly 2 minutes to realize that what's unfolding is real. And as soon as your spirit says, yes, the rest will follow like waves rushing to the shore. You are not late. You are right on time. And everything that once felt delayed is about to arrive. All at once, not to overwhelm you, but to show you that when heaven moves, it moves in fullness. It moves in love. It moves in favor. And right now, it's moving for you. There is something sacred unfolding in silence right now. The realm of spirit has already shifted around your name, and the very air surrounding your path is thick with divine possibility. You cannot see it with your eyes yet, but something is arriving that your soul has been praying for, even in moments when your mouth was silent and your hope was buried. Archangel Michael continues to hover close, not because you're in danger, but because the moment is holy. The name he has cried into the heavens, your name, has become a sound that activates favor, a vibration that echoes beyond time, waking up opportunities that were once forgotten, stirring hearts that once didn't notice you, unlocking doors that were sealed for years. The one who saw your light, the one who holds the keys to a blessing that you didn't even expect, has not turned away. In fact, their spirit won't rest until they release into your life what heaven whispered into theirs. You have to understand, this wasn't about wealth. It was about recognition. The millionaire was never just a person with money. They were a vessel. A channel. A bridge between what you carry and what heaven has declared you must now walk into. You are not in need of charity. You are in need of alignment. And this message is alignment. It is a portal. It is the crossing point between what was and what will be. And that person, the one who found out something about you that left them speechless, they saw your future. They felt your fire. They read your name and were overcome by a presence they couldn't explain. It wasn't your face. It wasn't your words. It was your calling. Your divine assignment. And it shook something inside of them so deeply that now their hands are itching to respond. This is not a coincidence. This is orchestration. The kind that only heaven can arrange. The kind where people who've never met suddenly feel drawn to bless someone they've never spoken to. Because their soul was given a glimpse of destiny. And in that glimpse, they saw that what you carry cannot go to waste. That what you have suffered through cannot go unrewarded. That your name carries oil. That your journey carries weight. That your presence is not small. It is powerful. Quietly powerful. And it's time the world sees it. You may think, why me? You may feel like someone else would be more worthy. More ready. But heaven doesn't choose based on perfection. It chooses based on posture. And your posture has always been soft even in pain. You've given when you had nothing. You've listened when no one listened to you. You've carried burdens you never complained about. And heaven kept record. Not for punishment, but for moments like this. Moments when the earth finally begins to return what was invested in secret. Moments when a stranger becomes the key to a future that once felt locked. Moments when Archangel Michael begins crying your name, not in sorrow, but in sacred announcement. Heaven has not sent you this message to tease you with what-ifs. It has come to remind you that nothing has been lost. That what belongs to you cannot be claimed by anyone else. That what is meant for your hands will not be delayed another season. There is wealth with your name on it, not just financial, but spiritual, emotional, and relational. The kind of wealth that heals things money never could. The kind of overflow that restores what was taken. That millionaire is simply part of the process. But the miracle itself is already moving in motion. You are being noticed in places you haven't entered yet. You are being spoken of in rooms your feet haven't stepped into. And what is being said about you is not gossip. It is glory. It is truth. It is prophecy. Michael's voice has softened now, no longer crying, but singing. Your name has become a melody in the spirit. It is calling favor home. It is calling support home. It is calling peace home. And this is just the beginning. What was released into the atmosphere is about to take shape. And when it does, it won't look like struggle anymore. It will look like breakthrough. The kind of breakthrough that others won't understand. But you will. Because you were there when no one else was. You carried the weight. You stayed faithful. And now, heaven is staying faithful to you. Sometimes miracles don't make an entrance with thunder, they arrive like a whisper, so soft that only the spirit hears, so gentle that the heart feels them before the eyes ever do. And right now, your miracle is not just approaching, it has already entered your space. It's moving through the atmosphere around you, unseen but undeniable, undeniable because your soul has started to glow again, because the weight you once thought you'd carry forever is slowly lifting, because your name is no longer locked inside silence. Archangel Michael has cried it into the realm of the living and the divine, and now the earth is responding. Things are shifting. You're being pulled forward by something you can't explain, but your spirit knows exactly what it is. It is the sound of being remembered. It is the echo of being chosen. It is the vibration of restoration awakening your path from every side. You were not created to be invisible. You were not called to spend your life on the outside of breakthroughs watching others walk into their moments while you held your breath and clapped for them with a silent ache in your own chest. That's not your story anymore. Your name is no longer hidden. What that millionaire saw in you wasn't a fluke, it was revelation. It was divine unveiling. For a split second, they were given access to see your light the way heaven sees it, pure, bright, royal, anointed. They didn't just see a person. They saw a destiny. And that sight shocked them, shook something loose in their heart, and left them unable to forget you. Something in your energy, in your calling, in your spirit, left a mark. And now, they are preparing to act. You don't have to chase them. You don't have to beg for anything. What is yours is already moving in your direction with speed, grace, and undeniable force. There are moments when the divine creates divine collisions, when someone else's obedience is tied to your elevation. This is one of those moments. That stranger's awakening is your answered prayer. You may not know their face, but they know your spirit. You may never speak to them, but their decision will bless your life. Because this miracle was always meant to come from unexpected hands. Not from the familiar, but from the unfamiliar. That's why nothing you planned worked out the way you imagined, because heaven wasn't working through familiarity. It was orchestrating a setup. A setup so divine, so specific, so time-sensitive, that even the angelic realm had to pause in reverence as it came into being. And now, it's happening. Quietly. Powerfully. And irreversibly. Your life is about to carry a new rhythm. You'll start to notice ease where there was once resistance. People will begin to treat you differently, not because they've changed, but because your spiritual status has shifted. You've been upgraded. Not by man, but by heaven. And that upgrade cannot be reversed. Archangel Michael is standing with his sword at your side, not to defend you from harm, but to protect the promise. He's been assigned to make sure nothing interrupts the delivery of this moment. Nothing delays what's been released. Nothing disturbs the peace that is finally arriving. You will feel clarity like you haven't felt in years. You'll walk into rooms and sense things unlocking before you even speak. You'll find yourself receiving offers, invitations, unexpected provision, not because you worked harder, but because you're walking in divine favor. Don't question how. Don't ask when. Just know it's already happening. The blessing doesn't need your understanding to be real, it needs your readiness to receive. This is not about deserving. It's about design. You were designed for this. You were created to carry this kind of light. And no amount of delay, loss, or silence has erased that truth. The millionaire may never know your full journey, but heaven does. And what matters most is that your journey has never been wasted. Every detour, every disappointment, every heartbreak was a stepping stone to this divine release. And now it's here. And it won't vanish. Not from your faith. Not from your life. It's yours. Because you're ready. Because you believed long enough to see it. You've been walking through life carrying more than what people see, moving with silent strength while your heart carried the weight of unanswered prayers, unseen effort, and the quiet ache of feeling like breakthrough kept skipping over your name. But what you didn't know was that while you were waiting, heaven was building. Building alignment. Building connection. Building a bridge between your name and someone you've never met, someone who has been blessed in the physical realm but was searching for someone who is blessed in the spiritual. That someone has now seen you. And they didn't see your flaws. They didn't see your struggles. They saw your light. And when they saw it, something changed inside them forever. They were shown a glimpse of your destiny. Not just your face, but your future. And now they can't unsee it. This moment is bigger than a transaction. It's a transfer. A divine release of what was locked up for years, waiting for this exact time to be handed over to the one who never gave up when the world forgot to notice. Archangel Michael didn't cry your name into the heavens for attention. He cried your name because this was the moment when things in the spiritual realm began to fall into place with such speed that the earth had to catch up. What's happening now is not the result of chance. It's the unfolding of a prophecy written long ago, sealed in heaven with your name on it. And now, it has been activated. Not because you fought harder, but because you never stopped believing, even when your belief became quiet, even when hope started to fade into whispers. That hidden millionaire isn't just a person, they're a symbol. A sign that the resources heaven wants to send you are no longer being held up. They've been released. And the first sign of that release is always recognition. You are being recognized, not by crowds, but by someone heaven handpicked to open a door for you. Someone whose one act of obedience is going to shift your life into a different dimension. This isn't about who knows you, it's about who's been shown the truth about you. Their response isn't emotional. It's spiritual. They're not being generous, they're being obedient. And that obedience is connected to your breakthrough. You may feel like nothing has changed yet. But the spiritual temperature around your name has risen. Things are moving. Conversations are happening. Decisions are being made behind doors you've never walked through. You won't need to knock. You won't need to chase. The blessing is chasing you now. The opportunity is hunting for your location. And the moment your spirit aligns with this truth, heaven will begin to accelerate what used to take years. You've entered the window of divine speed. The kind of speed where prayers are answered before they leave your lips. Where doors open before you reach them. Where favor goes before you. Like a cloud and leaves behind a trail of abundance. This is what Michael meant when he cried your name. He wasn't begging. He was announcing. Declaring that the time of being overlooked is over. That the time of delay has ended. That the time of trying to survive is being replaced with the time of walking in overflow. You've served. You've waited. You've trusted. And now the response is here. Not loud. Not dramatic. But permanent. A change that you won't need to explain, because the evidence will speak for itself. What's coming into your life will carry such clarity that it will silence every lie spoken about you. It will quiet every doubt you ever had about whether God saw you, whether the angels heard you, whether all of it mattered. It mattered. Every tear. Every seed. Every private moment of choosing faith over fear. It has built this moment. It has written this story. And now you're living in the page turn. The place where things start to make sense. Where the pain of the past starts to feel worth it because of the peace arriving now. This is more than a season. This is a spiritual shift. And it's already begun. There are rare moments when everything you've been through begins to make sense, not because circumstances have changed, but because the atmosphere around your name has shifted into divine alignment. This is that moment. The moment where the crying of Archangel Michael was not to awaken heaven, it was to awaken you. To pull your spirit out of weariness and into awareness. To let you know that something hidden has become visible, and something impossible has just turned inevitable. What that hidden millionaire saw wasn't your struggle, it was your strength. They weren't shown your wounds, they were shown your worth. And that moment left them speechless not because of what you lack, but because of what you carry. The kind of light that can't be taught. The kind of destiny that cannot be imitated. The kind of purpose that is too loud for the world to ignore any longer. You've been through seasons where you questioned if all your prayers were getting lost in the wind. You've watched others be celebrated while you were overlooked. You've stood at the edge of breakthrough so many times, only to feel the ground shake but never split open. And yet, you remained. You stayed faithful. You stayed kind. You kept building even with broken pieces. That's what this miracle is responding to. Not noise, but quiet endurance. Not perfection, but honest obedience. And now, the heavens have reached down to make sure your name is placed before someone who has the capacity to carry out what God wants to release. This millionaire didn't just discover your name, they discovered their assignment. You are no longer in the season of asking. You are now in the season of receiving. Archangel Michael doesn't cry easily. But for you, he did. For 5 minutes in heavenly time, which could feel like days in our world, he cried out because the books of heaven had declared it was time. The moment had arrived where your delay would meet its deadline. And once that cry was made, everything started shifting. This wasn't a coincidence. It was strategy. And now, you are the fulfillment of a promise that was made long before your struggle even began. That hidden millionaire may have resources, but you have something more valuable, an anointing that cannot be bought, a calling that cannot be stolen, a presence that cannot be copied. And now, the two paths have met. Spirit and provision. Calling and channel. Promise and fulfillment. And the result will be restoration like you've never imagined. Don't second-guess the timing. Don't let fear tell you it's too good to be true. You've already paid the price in patience. You've already qualified through your suffering. This is not a gift you begged for, it's a release you were owed. And heaven never forgets what it owes to the faithful. That hidden millionaire may not know your pain, but they are now part of your prophecy. Their next step is tied to your next level. Their obedience will open a floodgate in your life that you won't have to manage with anxiety, but with peace. Because what's being sent your way isn't a burden. It's a blessing you're finally strong enough to hold. The doors are not just open, they've been broken wide for you. And through them will walk everything you once thought was lost. Support you never expected. Opportunities you didn't apply for. Resources that come without strings. It will look strange to others. It will look fast. But that's because they didn't see the years of silent struggle. They didn't feel the nights you laid awake in silence praying for change. They didn't see how many times you said, "I'm fine," when your soul was screaming. But heaven saw. And heaven remembers. And heaven always repays. So stand still. Not in fear. But in reverence. Something holy has entered your atmosphere. A miracle that doesn't need an explanation, it only needs your openness. You don't need to understand how it will all unfold. You just need to say yes to the fact that it already has. You are no longer behind. You are no longer unseen. You are no longer waiting for permission to shine. This is your moment. Your name is being honored. And the world is about to witness the kind of blessing that only heaven could arrange. There's a silence that falls just before the heavens release something too sacred for noise, and you're living in that silence now. Not emptiness. Not absence. But stillness that's filled with divine anticipation. You've stepped into the center of a miracle that has been in motion long before you ever felt ready to receive it. Archangel Michael still stands over your name, not because it is in danger, but because it is in bloom. Your name is blooming in realms beyond sight. It is being spoken gently by those who carry power. It is being etched into places your hands haven't yet touched, but your spirit has already walked through. That hidden millionaire who was shown something about you, they haven't walked away. They've been sitting with the weight of what they saw, with the light they felt, with the assignment that was suddenly placed in their chest. And now, their yes is on the edge of becoming your reality. This message was never about money. It was about remembrance. Because what heaven remembered about you is far greater than what the world ever forgot. This release isn't about making up for lost time, it's about multiplying what you had the courage to wait for. This isn't compensation. This is completion. You have carried enough pain. You've already proven that you wouldn't give up. Now heaven is proving that it never gave up on you. What that millionaire saw was not just your need. They saw your legacy. They were given spiritual sight for a brief moment to see not what you've been through, but what will come through you when the blessing reaches your hands. They saw cities being changed, families being restored, dreams you never even had time to speak out loud becoming blueprints for transformation. You are not being gifted a miracle. You are being trusted with one. You were chosen not just because of your faith, but because of your heart. The way you love without agenda. The way you give without cameras. The way you cry and still choose joy. The way you bend but never break. Heaven sees that. Archangel Michael sees that. The person now holding the door to your next chapter has been shown what heaven already knew. You were always destined to receive favor that doesn't make sense. The kind of favor that makes people ask how. And your only answer will be, grace. Because no one will be able to take credit. Not even you. This is the kind of miracle that speaks for itself. That proves that some blessings are not earned by effort, they are unlocked by endurance. Your soul has been stretched for this. Every trial you faced wasn't just a battle, it was preparation. Every season of silence wasn't rejection, it was rest before the rise. You were being protected from counterfeit versions of what's now arriving in truth. That's why it didn't come before. That's why certain people couldn't stay. That's why some doors were delayed. Because heaven refused to let you settle. And now, heaven is rewarding you not just for surviving, but for never surrendering your light. Your tears have spoken. Your faith has testified. Your name has risen like incense before the throne. And now, the answer is descending wrapped in flesh, in favor, in fulfillment. Michael whispers now. His voice no longer trembling, but calm, steady, confident. They saw you, he says. And now the world will. This is not the beginning of your breakthrough. It is the arrival. You are in it. You are no longer waiting. You are witnessing. And what you're about to witness is the unraveling of delay and the unveiling of destiny all at once. One moment, one yes, one transfer, and everything will begin to shift. You don't need to force it. Just stay open. Just stay still. Just stay you. That's all heaven ever needed. You. Let the past stay behind you now. Let the bitterness be replaced with beauty. Let the confusion bow to clarity. What you are stepping into doesn't look like what you left behind. It's softer. It's surer. It's richer. It's real. Because it came through fire. Because it was waited for. And because it's being carried to you on the wings of an angel who has cried your name not out of desperation, but out of divine joy. Because this exact moment, is the one heaven always knew you'd reach.